Hey folks, you're watching FYI Extra. I'm Luke Davies and this is what's coming up. Sex and the City makes a comeback.
It feels exciting, it feels really lucky, it's nervous-making obviously. Nice to see familiar faces, nice to see cast members and friends.
Actor Lydia West gets all chuffed.
It's just lovely recognition of your work, and especially when you put so much love into it and so much heart.
And the new Matrix trailer may bend our little minds like a spoon. First, we're in Hollywood Boulevard, where Spielberg's West Side Story had its premiere. For lead actor Rachel Zegler, it was just nuts to see her face slapped all over LA.
Oh my gosh, I mean, it's wildly overwhelming, but there are moments where you just kind of sit and you look right there and you say, yep, that's my face on a billboard. And it is a moment. And you just think, wow, we've waited a really long time to share this movie with everyone. It's more poignant now than it was when we made it. And we're very proud of the work that we did.
The tale, loosely based on Romeo and Juliet, depicts two star-crossed lovers, Tony and Maria, who have ties to rival New York street gangs. But for Ariana DeBose, who plays the iconic Anita, there was a moment on set which gave her all the feels.
The one that really got me, we were shooting the end of America, and there's this massive crane shot, and it pushes into Anita and Bernardo, and we were dancing in the streets of New York. It was really hot. I looked around, and I finally felt like, here's my community. Here we are. And we're beautiful. And we all look different, but we are all Latinos. And it was so nice to finally feel celebrated and accepted, and there was more than enough space for everyone. And that's when it got me.
To further add to the authenticity, the movie also features Spanish without subtitles.
I think it's genius. I mean, it shows a sign of respect to the Spanish language. Spanish is, a third of the world speaks Spanish, and I think it's time for people to be able to respect a language like that. And I think it's intriguing because it kind of lets the emotions speak for themselves instead of the words. And it's really beautiful, I think. Really smart that they did that.
I better get practicing on Duolingo then. Next, everyone get ready to say, aww.
Look at you, Uncle Casey, so cute.
I'm so red.
How big is he gonna get?
That depends, doesn't it?
On what?
On how much you love him.
I wish we were big and strong, and the world couldn't hurt us. Oh.
Yes, that's right, everyone's favourite giant red CGI pooch is wagging its way onto the silver screen. Our Stephanie Fileo caught up with Jack Whitehall, who might have caused a nationwide headache for parents whose children now want one thing for Christmas.
Jack, I watched it with my niece who's nearly 4. She's now convinced that dogs grow to the size of Clifford.
I know, yeah. I watched it yesterday with a load of my friends and their kids, and a lot of them have said today that there have been requests for 10-foot red dogs, like red-coated Labradors. Like, it's going to be a nightmare for parents because they're going to take their kids to see this movie and then be straight off to Battersea Dogs Home.
Despite the film being about a giant canine companion, there was a very serious preparation process that Jack undertook for the role of Uncle Casey.
My mind was blown. I was so confused because I'm so used to you being so British that I was like, wait, what is going on? Did you stay in character like the whole time in American?
No, I didn't go full method. I mean, imagine if you had on Clifford the Big Red Dog, I'm going to approach this role in a method way and I'll be speaking in an American accent for the entirety of the shoot. You can't go full Daniel Day-Lewis if you're doing a film about Clifford the Big Red Dog, no matter how hilarious that would be. Maybe I should just say that. From now on, I'm going to say that in every interview from this point onwards. I'm going to go like full Daniel Day-Lewis and claim that I did it in the actual method way, because that is how I do my craft. And this is all about my craft.
Well, something which apparently helped child actor Darby Camp was none other than the best boy band that's ever been.
Darby had to do quite a lot of very emotional scenes And for her, it was quite hard, like just on cue, to try and get into this really like sad, like emotional like state. And so that's where we used One Direction, is that whenever she needed to get upset or cry about the dog being taken away from her, I would just talk to her about One Direction's breakup and tell her that they were never getting back together again. And it did the trick. Like every time, she was an absolute mess, like tears rolling out of her eyes. And that would be my advice to anyone that's ever working with a child star, is just find out whichever boy band they really like and then trigger them by talking about their breakup as much as you can when you need the child to get emotional.
Well, Jack, that's your career over with. It was a good run, mate. At least you can get your dad to step into your shoes. Come to think of it, imagine Jack Whitehall's dad in a Clifford the Big Red Dog film. Perfection. Next, you know how we all think it's a bit of a myth that massive Hollywood directors just call you out of the blue to be in one of their films overnight? Well, a woman listener too found out that's exactly what happened to Josh Hartnett, who's making an appearance in Guy Ritchie's new movie, Wrath of Man.
I was a last-minute addition to the film. I don't know if you know this, but there was another actor playing a character with the same name, but the character was barely in the script. Guy knew that I was in England. This actor dropped out. He called me. He said, "Josh, there's nothing in the script. I don't even want you to read it. You can if you want, but please just come up to London and speak to me." I came up to London. It was the first day he was actually filming. He was on set. We sat in his Winnebago. We talked about what this character could be. And he said, "We'll make it up as we go. You got to trust me." And I've always wanted to work with Guy. And so I said, "Sure. It sounds like a challenge. It sounds interesting. It sounds like something new." And we made this character up on the day, every day, as we went along. So that was, I've never done anything like that before.
I mean, that's incredible. That's, taking a leap. Was there any part of you that wanted to put in a bit more fighting for you, though? Or were you quite happy to, like, leave that to Jason?
No, I always want to put in more fighting. I'm physically fit, like why not show it off before I disintegrate? No, I didn't have a lot of opportunity for that because my character is kind of he's kind of a numbskull. But I like that he is, I liked being the only character in the piece that wasn't tough. Okay. For me, that's exciting. Like I get to play off brand, off type for everybody else.
Fair play to him taking it in his stride. If someone can play a bit of a drip in a film titled Wrath of Man, there's hope for us all, eh? Next, let's head back on over the pond and to the Sex and the City reboot premiere in New York, where Sarah Jessica Parker emotionally remembers cast member Willie Garson.
I almost can't talk about it except to say you get through it because you must, but it's enormously painful. I hope to have the fans laugh and enjoy him in these first 3 episodes, and just that's what he lived for, and that's what we're so lucky to have him be this whole time and continue on, and we know he's laughing wherever he is.
The new series, titled And Just Like That, continues the tales of Carrie, Charlotte and Miranda as they attempt to meander through the next part of their lives.
People are interested in stories about people that they either recognize or they don't. We have it in literature, we've had it in cinema, maybe not enough, but it makes sense that this is an enormously interesting chapter of people's lives. This is often the place where there's great change, where there's loss, where there's rethinking.
This show was such a phenomenon, the original, and it was such a thing that we were all so proud of being part of. And I think we're really excited to be back with the best parts of who we used to be and the exciting parts of who these characters will turn into, but it's also very much the new cast members and the new characters that our show has, broadened to include.
It's nervous-making, obviously. Nice to see familiar faces, nice to see cast members and friends, and it's nice to just, look at that. Nice to be out.
It's actually quite comforting to know that even after 20 years of trying to work life out, they've still got big problems to take care of. Next, It's a Sin and Years actor Lydia West is one of 36 candidates that have been announced as part of BAFTA's Breakthrough Talent Programme, and she was pretty chuffed about it.
I didn't expect it, kind of. You don't when you hear the thousands and thousands of applicants that apply and the amount of talent you see on screen and stage and behind the scenes too that Breakthrough represents. I'm a person, I just don't really have any expectations of these things and of being part of them. So when I did get the email, I was just thrilled and so humbled and just really, really pleased, because it's just lovely recognition of your work, and especially when you put so much love into it and so much heart, then for that to be appreciated and to be acknowledged is just amazing, especially by BAFTA.
Now backed by streaming giant Netflix, the BAFTA Breakthrough programme was first launched in 2013 to support emerging talent across film, TV and video games. And it's no surprise West chose to play a character like Jill in It's a Sin.
And I'm not comparing the coronavirus pandemic to the AIDS epidemic, but we got on, and we in times of real times of destruction and turmoil, somehow humanity finds its place, and we learn to do this virtually, and we learn to work out in our kitchens and see friends over Zoom and all these things. And it was the same in the AIDS pandemic, which we kind of tried to show in It's a Sin, just that love and friendship prevails even in the face of death and destruction and horror. And some of these kids were so young, dealing with such a heavy loss. It was inspiring to be able to tell that story. So I think what resonated so well with the UK population was just the fact, especially in Jill, that we all come. I like to think we all stand up and in the face of adversity and in kind of loss, we stand strong, we support our friends, we support our families, we care for people, and we love. And I think that's what resonated, why Jill resonated so well with the world, is that there's a Jill in every one of us.
Another lucky bean to have been picked is sex education actor George Robinson, who, from the sounds of it, just fell into acting by reenacting Jim Carrey's Yes Man.
Just in a sense of, it'll give me more confidence going forward of, yeah, I am doing good work, and it'll be nice to sort of know that I've got BAFTA, I've got my back to some extent. Philosophy at uni, and I decided to say yes to going to a local screen acting course at the the Midlands Art Centre, and then I said yes to going to a few auditions, and just that that process of saying yes to things seems to have culminated in this weird life that I now have.
He makes it sound so easy. Bit of uni, drop into a screen acting class, a sprinkle of auditions, and boom, features on, I don't know, one of the biggest shows that the planet has ever seen. With George being a fan of philosophy and the study of fundamental questions on life, I'm sure he loved this next story. The second trailer for The Matrix Resurrections. Get ready to feel all 1999 again.
We can't see it, but we're all trapped inside these strange repeating loops.
Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious.
But this is the moment for you to show us what is real.
I remember this.
So deja vu. And yet it's obviously all wrong. Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
They taught you good, made you believe their world was all you deserved. But some part of you knew that was a lie.
The highly anticipated fourth film in the Matrix franchise sees the return of everyone's favourite not-so-Hollywood-type actor Keanu Reeves as Neo and Carrie-Anne Moss as Trinity. But forget bullet-dodging, wall-running and Naughty's sunglasses. I just can't wait to hear that cool kung fu whooshing sound. Right, that's enough. Don't want to give too much away. But what if our life is just augmented reality? What if someone from the real world is trying to tell you that you're in the Matrix right now? What if that person's me in your TV? I'll be in touch.